Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the tall rock for a clan meeting.
Miouooo, I'm Simon.
And I'm Evelyn.
I'm Australia.
And today we're going to be discussing Tallstar's Revenge, chapters 20, 21, and 22.
Keep in mind that our spoiler policy is spoilers are fun. So following up from last time, the only thing I had was that I did play more Medicine Mission, but I downloaded the app this time to play it there.
And did it work?
I mean, it worked. It might have been a little bit easier than the computer. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that different. So I downloaded the app, and then I tapped on the banner that was for the Medicine Mission, and I got an error page. But then when I navigated to the menu and went to Medicine Mission from there, it worked. And I got a lot further. Like, it got to the point where there were several ailments that required 3 different herbs to cure.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I leveled up like maybe 4 times. But the annoying thing is like anytime you lose, like none of your progress is saved, so you have to go through the whole thing each time, including the tutorial, which was really annoying. But yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, I didn't play any more Medicine Mission after that.
Okay, and maybe I'll try to play some more Clan Gen too. Do either of you have fandom news?
No, I just opened this 5 things to know about Warriors fans, though.
All right, let's talk about that.
What a terrible article.
I haven't looked ahead. That's exciting to me.
Really low effort and generic.
So number 1, they love a good debate. And the picture that they've used to represent the good debate is some stones in a river.
I guess that's Sunning Rocks, except they're not supposed to be in the river.
I guess the stepping stones.
The stepping stones, yeah.
Why do they look like that?
They're very big. Like, it's like
also the pipe thing is who should Sunning Rocks belong to, which makes me think they're supposed to be Sunning Rocks.
Right.
So who should Sunning Rocks belong to? ThunderClan.
Yeah, they're on their space. But the next one was Maple Shade a victim of cruel treatment, and she was. Justice for Maple Shade. Her life was horrible.
Yeah. Or was her sad situation her own fault? Wow, what a way to word that.
Do either of you know what happened to Maple Shade?
Not really.
I can't remember.
Oh, it's like she has the classic story of like she got in with somebody from another clan and then was gonna have kids, and he like turned out to be a jerk, and her clan turned on her and hated her because she was having kids with a cat from another clan. And it's like the same sort of like forbidden lovers kind of thing we've gotten so many times, except it just like everything goes horribly wrong for Maple Shade and everybody hates her forever.
Yeah.
And like I think all of her kids end up dead, and it's just a horrible, horrible story.
So much grief and tragedy in this series.
I also love that like they love a good debate. All of this is just like, yes, this is what being in a fan space is like on the internet.
That's like every single one of these things could apply to any series. Also, I don't think the examples are really that debated in the fandom. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's other things that are a lot more debated.
Yeah.
And which clan is the best? Which cat is the best? That's not really like a big debate area.
I also love, why is that? I'm not going to learn through sharing your reasons with each other. That is not how the internet works.
No.
Yeah, as long as you approach each debate with a positive mindset and the willingness to listen and engage in healthy, friendly disagreement, you can have a lot of fun debating with Warriors fans. Good luck with that.
So number 2, they're funny. I do like how it says ongoing jokes about heavy steps and 9 lives. That is funny.
We can always count on our fans to find the humor in a series about struggle, betrayal, and death.
Number 3, they love to theorize.
This is also just like, yes, welcome to fan spaces.
Yeah. Though to be honest, I don't think the Warriors fandom is that big on theorizing and more big on like headcanons and AUs.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know, like thinking about the Song of Ice and Fire fandom, like that is a fandom that loves to theorize. Got things like the time traveling fetus theory. Like there's nothing like that in Warriors.
It does say sharing headcanons about small moments off screen.
Yeah.
Now, a large chunk of this is just about headcanons, which isn't really theorizing.
It's not the same. They're super creative. There is like a huge, I mean, like most of the fandom is art, basically.
Yeah.
That's true.
And number 5, we're grateful for them every day. That's not a real item.
This article is terrible. Who wrote this?
An editor. Yep, by the editor.
Editor.
Official. This is an official article
Well,
on WarriorCats.com.
would you care to add a 6th bullet point?
A lot of them are furries.
Yes.
That's the main thing that comes to mind. Okay, next.
Can I read it?
Yes.
Back to the island, mange-pelts. From Ashford, The Place of No Stars, Chapter 15.
Yes, this is an excellent quote of the week. I was surprised that we hadn't used it before, but then I realized there's just because of our hiatus. As soon as I read this, I was like, okay, this is gonna have a huge effect on our household. And it has. I say this all the time.
You
He
really
says
do.
it to me. He says, back to the island, mange-pelts. It's terrible that I have to work.
This is really like one of my all-time favorites.
It's really very good.
The mange-pelt.
I don't know, though, that Swallow These Leaves will ever top anything for me. That was so something.
Swallow these leaves. There's just overall great quotes to be found.
Yeah. And then rats not die, cats die. Okay. Shall we dive into chapter 20?
Sure, I have to say, a spoiler alert, I don't think I noticed any herring in these 3 chapters that we're going to read. I don't think anybody haired anywhere.
What a disappointment for a milk drinker.
I know.
I don't know if I noticed any herring either.
Yeah, so keep a lookout for it, but I was looking and I did not see any herring.
Chapter 20 summary. Tallpaw argues with Barkpaw, who thinks Tallpaw should not decide to train as a tunneler. Then Heatherstar calls a clan meeting and cancels tunneling for good. Many cats think it's for good also. Palebird said something. Tallpaw ran out during the meeting and tried to go in a tunnel, and then he got in a fight with Truepaw. Now we have the wiki cliff notes. Barkpaw tries to talk Tallpaw out of being a tunneler, but Tallpaw ignores his former friend.
Truepaw bullies Tallpaw again, calling him Wormpaw and saying he's training where he belongs. Tallpaw calls him Weaselpaw, and Rena angrily interjects and scolds Tallpaw.
Heatherstar calls a clan meeting announcing the births of the new kits, and Tallpaw thinks she will reassign his mentor as Woollytail.
Heatherstar places a permanent ban on tunneling. The more runners approve. Most of the tunnelers, including Tallpaw, are outraged.
Even Palebird is glad Tallpaw can't be a tunneler, and tells him she loves him for the first time in many moons.
Tallpaw thinks everyone went insane and sprints out of camp, determined to be a tunneler. He finds a rabbit hole and thinks he'll teach himself to tunnel like Shattered Ice did. Just when he is about to go down it, Dawnstripe hauls him out. Truepaw bullies Tallpaw again, and Dawnstripe finally sees it's more than teasing.
Shrewpaw continues to provoke Tallpaw, resulting in the latter attacking the former and a harsh scolding from the latter's mentor.
Why do they gotta say it like that? That's so much more confusing than just using their names.
It is.
Yes, but this will not be the only Shrewpaw Tallpaw attack in these chapters.
I mean, last episode there was like no Shrewpaw, but now it's all about Shrewpaw.
It's very Shrewpaw heavy.
I don't know if I liked these chapters as much as the last time.
No, I don't feel like there's nearly as much to say or going on in them.
Here at the beginning of chapter 20, we're getting the conversation between Barkpaw and Tallpaw. Tallpaw's like, I don't expect you to understand. Which, like, Barkpaw is basically in the same position as Tallpaw. Like, they both just lost a parent, so it's kind of uncalled for. Then they're talking about like how Tallpaw loved to be a moor runner. Tallpaw says that he'll love tunneling too, which is not true.
No. Yeah, he like literally has panic attacks.
Does anybody like tunneling less than Tallpaw? I
Like,
don't think so.
even when they were going to the Moonstone, like, even ThunderClan cats don't have that reaction to being underground. Like, it's really bad for Tallpaw.
Yeah, he's having like PTSD flashbacks every time he goes in there.
Barkpaw does also say that even Shrewpaw was impressed by Tallpaw's hunting skill.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Does he even respond? I'm just not realizing.
No, it's the Shrewpaw thing.
No, it just ignores that.
Yeah. And then there's the Shrewpaw Tallpaw Arena incident, which I don't think any of us had anything to say about.
No, it really wasn't all that interesting. It was pretty standard. Shrewpaw calling him Wormpaw. Oh, you tunnel. Your dad's dead. Ha!
Rena still thinks Tallpaw turned mean. Isn't that great? You've turned mean, Tallpaw.
Yes.
How is Rena an adult? No, right?
Oh, I get the impression that Rena is maybe around the same age, but like maybe a little bit older. I don't know.
I'm just like, come on, he's going through something.
So Heatherstar just called the clan meeting, and it says murmurs of approval rippled through the clan.
Oh, didn't we have a similar typo in the last episode?
Yeah, very similar. And again, I don't know if this is a real typo or if it's just a problem with the PDF.
Now it's time to celebrate.
Yeah, very exciting. WindClan, Heatherstar began. You have known for some time that I have doubts about our tunneling. Then she goes on to say, after that, I have decided that there will be no more tunneling for WindClan. It's over. It's cancelled.
Yes, we don't have to talk about the tunnels anymore.
Yeah. We're free.
What a historic event.
It's so exciting. This is like, I think, my favorite part of these 3 chapters. Last time we got rid of Sandgors finally, and this time we're getting rid of the tunnels.
Yeah, things are growing great right now, actually.
Yeah, everything's happening.
Heatherstar says, this is not a decision I take lightly, but I hope that many of you will support me. She doesn't want the support of all her clan, just many of them.
I mean, many of them are the Moor Runners, so I think she's got it.
And like she knows that certain tunnelers are just not going to like it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Heatherstar says, we do not need the tunnels. Prey has run above ground for many leaf bears. We have improved our hunting skills, learned to work in teams, even in the harshest weather. We have been able to catch prey above ground. And I know they've talked about, like, one of the reasons that they have the tunnels is for catching prey. Have we ever experienced that? I don't remember ever hearing anything about them actually going down there to hunt or anything. Just, have they ever used the tunnels for catching food?
The only time was when they were hunting above ground, and then a rabbit went in one of the tunnels, and then I think it was Willytail like caught it and came out or something.
Yeah.
Like an accident.
Yeah, they're not like sending hunting patrols into the tunnels. So, just, I mean, yeah, just like we have been able to catch prey above ground is like, you exclusively catch prey above ground, though.
It's like the norm.
Yeah.
Although, well, it kind of was leaf bare at the beginning of this book, wasn't it? There was snow, right? Is that true?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember when Tallpaw was just a little kid and Sangors was forcing him to dig?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it was frozen.
Yeah.
I feel like so many super editions start out with the cat that we're following being a kid and it's wintertime that at this point I don't ever remember.
Hmm.
Though the beginnings of them all blend together for me.
So Heather Star says, it will take time and effort, but we will become stronger than WindClan has ever been. In moons to come, the other clans will fear us. Plumclaw yowls, they fear us already. Like, oh, that's sweet, WindClan. But I think WindClan is the least feared.
Always. Which is, like, I don't know why. Like, I mean, at this point, so many of them are just covered in dirt all of the time. But, like, consistently throughout the series, I feel like WindClan is just not taken very seriously at all. Or, like, they could ever be a real threat. And why? They're so fast in a way that would scare me very much.
Yeah, I don't know why that perception is there. I mean, from like the beginning of the first arc, it's like, okay, yeah, they like almost went extinct, so I understand that. But then they did rebound.
Yeah, but even like, I don't know, the last ones that I was reading, Tallstar who's in charge now, it just feels like he's like trying to be like tough and like make WindClan seem like strong and tough and important, but it still feels like, okay, 1 star. That's nice. You think that you're fancy.
So Heather Star says, our tunnelers won't have to retrain as more runners. Their duty now will be to block all the tunnels, making them safe for future generations of WindClan cats. So my question is, once they finish blocking the tunnels, which will take like a week, what are they going to do then?
I don't know, is the moor really that pockmarked with tunnel openings that, like, it's gonna take the rest of these cats' lives?
I'm also like just not considering like how have they ever had like a cave-in problem from the top perspective? If they're building so many tunnels like through their territory, are there ever like cats who just like fall through the ground?
Yeah, you'd expect that to happen like at least once in a while with all the disasters that happen to the clans.
Yeah, I mean they're caving in pretty consistently, and I mean they're cats. Like the tunnels can't be that deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they're gonna be done with that so soon, and then these cats are just entirely pointless.
Tallpaw's really angry, and he's like upset on behalf of his father. And I did find it curious, just thinking about, not once has he been like at all relieved or like feeling like he's not under a microscope from his father or anything like that. There's none of that. I'd imagine he'd be conflicted, but he's not really conflicted. He's just like grieving his father.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot better if there were like, yeah, a bit more depth and nuance to it, but it's just like leaning. It's just like we gotta go for the revenge part. Really hard, so we just have to make him super angry all of the time. But yeah, then he says then Sangors died for nothing about them closing the tunnels down. And just, I mean, he died for nothing even if they kept the tunnels up. There was no, like, purpose He really,
An accident.
yeah.
So mostly the clan is celebrating and they're chanting WindClan. And then we get the Palebird moment. And, like, this is actually a good moment for Palebird. She's like, and I couldn't bear to lose another cat I love. Yeah. She really seems like, what you'd expect from a parent.
I mean, is this also, it does say, like, he can remember the last time Palebird told him she left him. I actually see cats say that often. Any of them? I don't think we do.
No.
It's not a common, like, actual sentiment.
That word specifically, love.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, there's definitely cats that love each other, and it's, implied or whatever, but actually seeing any cat tell another cat that they love them is not common. I really enjoy had everyone gone bad and then sprinting out of the camp to try and go into the ground. It's like you're very much the one who has lost it here.
Yeah.
There's also several instances in these chapters of the sheep just kind of watching everything go down.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy.
I love this note that you made about a worm of fear in his belly.
He has worms. It's from all that dirt.
That's true.
It's just like, of all the words we're going to use, a worm. Called Worm Paw all of the time. And he's consistently, eating the dirt.
That's why WindClan cats are so thin.
Yeah. They all have parasitic worms, which is not something we ever hear about in the series.
No.
But they probably all do. So yeah, he's going into the tunnel, and he's not allowed, and Don Stripe is like, oh no, you don't. Those tunnels are out of bounds.
My note is just very, he's gonna get suspended. He can't go out.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Something good happens.
Yeah, Shrewpaw just races up and starts bullying him in front of Dawnstripe and also Hairflight. Dawnstripe is like, this has gone beyond teasing. If Shrewpaw were my apprentice, I'd claw his ears. Like, finally someone is doing something, but it shouldn't take this.
Yeah, I mean, Dawnstripe was also specifically saying that to Hairflight as well.
Yeah.
Like, scolding another adult for not doing more about it.
And, like, it doesn't last forever, unfortunately, because, like, later on at the end of these chapters, we kind of don't do anything about what happens. But yeah, it's nice to see here. But, like, he literally just goes up to a youth and two adults and starts bullying the youth. Like, it's so blatant. And then Shrewpaw later in this exchange says, "You're harebrained. You're an embarrassment to WindClan with your dumb accusations. Nobody likes you. You should be underground. We won't miss you."
And nobody says anything. Tallpaw just attacks.
Tallpaw attacks Shrewpaw. And then Dawnstripe pulls him off. "You can't attack your clanmate, no matter how he provokes you." She pointed her muzzle toward the sheep. "Go and use up the rest of your anger collecting wool for the elders."
I just want to know what the sheep were thinking.
Yeah, they've just been there the whole time.
I need a cutaway of the sheep's dialogue.
Yeah, I do agree with Shrewpaw that Tallpaw has been very embarrassing.
He really has. It's so dramatic and intense for no reason.
Yeah. It really makes me glad to be a mature adult right now. Just remember being a teenager, like how embarrassing it was to be like 14. Okay, what else? What else do we have to say? Evelyn, what do you have to say?
I don't care.
Okay.
Alright, well then I think chapter 21.
Ready for chapter 21? Time jump, and the rogues leave. How are you feeling, Tallpaw? The chapter is very long. Tallpaw and company travel to Mothermouth. Oh, they weren't at Mothermouth before? Wow, the thing I said about Mothermouth and it hadn't even happened yet? Oh.
Yeah, it was really long.
It was very long, and I kept being like, when it was like they were going to Mothermouth, I was like, okay, cool. This will be like, oh, I know what this will be the journey to Mothermouth, and then the next chapter will be like the visit with StarClan, and then that'll be it. And no, there's so much in this one chapter, but also kind of nothing.
Yeah, this was a slog, this middle chapter.
Yep.
Well, Leaf Fall is approaching and the rogues are leaving. Tallpaw is happy to see them go, especially Sparrow. Tallpaw quickly becomes furious, thinking that Sparrow shouldn't be able to get away unpunished after killing Sandgorse and ending tunneling.
Tallpaw notices Woollytail and Palebird are getting close. He is apprehensive about this.
Tallpaw feels trapped, thinking how he'll be a warrior, then a senior warrior, then an elder.
Tallpaw and a few others go hunting.
Tallpaw and Shrewpaw race back into camp with Tallpaw being the winner.
Tallpaw again feels trapped, philosophizing how clan cats are like the visitors. They arrive, eat, sleep, and then go to StarClan.
Dawnstripe, Tallpaw, Shrewpaw, and Hairflight take traveling herbs and prepare leave for the Moonstone. Barkpaw sends Tallpaw off with friendly advice.
The cats leave for Highstones. They cross the Thunderpath, and Shrewpaw, being reckless, almost dies.
They arrive at Highstones. They head into Mothermouth.
There's so many bullet points for like why is there a separate bullet point for they arrive at Highstones and they head into Mothermouth? Like, it's so specific.
I don't know, but there's so many bullet points for chapter 22 that it takes up the whole computer screen.
So yeah, they're leaving. Shrewpaw says to Rena, sorry if I was a bit unfriendly at the start. So Shrewpaw was unfriendly at the start, and Tallpaw was unfriendly at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Tallpaw does not apologize.
No. Tallpaw realizes he has to say something, so he's like, I hope you find a place to stay. And that's it. Just like to all of them.
Also,
and he thinks and that you never come back.
winks at him, which like technically a cat can do, but thinking about a cat like purposefully, playfully winking at another cat feels very weird to me.
Yeah, I just noticed that, but what's with that? Cats don't really do that even in Warriors, do they?
I don't remember.
It's a little different.
Yeah. Heatherstar says, if you come again, you'll find a clan no longer divided into more runners and tunnelers, but united as warriors as strong as any clan. Tallpaw notices that Heatherstar says if they come again, like perhaps there wasn't room for visiting rogues anymore. But like, I feel like that means she said if because like they are adults in charge of themselves who can make their own choices. Like they might decide to come back or not. They're wandering rogues.
Yeah, they're not required to come visit every year. Sparrow says, I wish you all well, and then Tallpaw is upset by that and thinks to himself it was as though Sandgorse had never existed at all. And I'm just like, what did you want him to say? Was he supposed to give some sort of speech about how Sandgorse is dead now before he left? Like, what was he supposed to say?
He's supposed to suffer for his crime.
His crime of still being alive.
Murdering Sandgorse. Yeah, they're like, he doesn't need to say anything. That'd just be weird and awkward. Like, they're having this nice goodbye, and then he's like, oh, by the way, remember how that one cat of yours died in
Yeah, I feel like it would have made it worse.
Yeah, and then Tallpaw would be like, he doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also immediately after they like as soon as the cats walk away, the clan cats are just like reminiscing about how great they were. Like they've been gone forever. I think you can still see them.
Yeah. They really are well loved by the clan.
Yeah.
And do they never come back? I don't remember
I mean,
now.
I think this is the only time we ever hear of them.
Yeah.
My knowledge. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it would be fun. Just like they're so with their own clans all of the time and like never really allowed to befriend anybody else. So it seems like having other cats to sort of spice it up sometimes might be really nice.
Well, then our next note is a while further down. I don't think we need to revisit any of this stuff. Like, we already read the cliff notes, but is there anything else that anybody has before my next note here?
No.
So here it says, with leaf fall coming, the warmth is fading. So it says leaf fall is coming. That's like autumn or fall. So it's not even autumn or fall yet, but at the beginning of the chapter, it said that the leaves were already changing color. Something's wrong here.
Maybe
Huge error.
they're sick.
This has ruined the whole story for me.
No, Simon.
I was also there's another mention of like he dragged a rabbit from the prey heap. There's just a pile of animal corpses. That is really weird.
Yeah, I mean, another reason they should all have worms.
Yes.
Especially when they like catch prey and then bury it and then go unbury it later and then put it on the prey heap.
Yeah.
How is this all not rotten? And I don't get the impression that it's like under something protected from the sun ever.
No.
Just like direct sunlight. I mean, also, how don't they have problems with like birds of prey coming to the camp specifically? Vultures and stuff. And like, I don't know, just scavengers. How do they not have scavengers coming into camp trying to eat their pile of animal corpses? All of them.
That's true. It's like the perfect meal for a vulture.
It's a pile of bodies.
Mhm.
Like, how are the kits not always in danger in pretty much every clan? Because, yeah, you've got a pile of corpses.
Yeah, especially for WindClan, it should be a humongous issue.
Yeah.
Then we have the part where he thinks we're just visitors like the rogues. We arrive, we eat, we sleep, and then we move on to StarClan. I just love the
Very much
existential moment here.
a depression era.
Yeah. And then he starts to feel like trapped in the clan, and this is part of why he goes on his revenge journey. While he was thinking this, he realizes that Dawnstripe is staring at him and that he missed something that she said. So, has this ever happened to either of you guys? Because like we see this is just a common trope in books, but like, does this actually happen?
I was thinking, I feel like I've missed like a part of what somebody said, but not like this thing where it's like a full on somebody said a whole sentence and I didn't realize they were talking to me at any point in it. Because I was thinking too hard.
It almost did me just now.
Well, that's because you're like sick or something. You're just like laying with your head on the table.
Are you alright?
No.
What's happening? Did you throw up 7 times again?
No.
Well, yeah, I've never had this happen. Like, I don't totally space out and then miss what somebody said. Never experienced that. Trupa and Tapa are arguing again or something. Hawkheart pushes between them and says, one day you're going to need to start behaving like clanmates. So the dynamic at this point now seems more like less one-sided bullying and like more mutual hostility.
Yeah, I mean, also, this is advice that could apply to a good chunk of WindClan cats.
Yeah.
The more runners and the tunnelers need to pretend to be friends.
So Hawkheart pawed a pile of herbs toward him and pushed the other heap under Shrewpaw's nose. Eat, he muttered. Remember, swallow these leaves.
Yeah, and then the next time that he did swallow them, his eyes were round, which makes me feel like he asked it very intensely.
Yeah. Ugh, but the traveling herbs, I just hate them. It doesn't make sense. You eat these, you swallow these leaves, and then you just like have extra stamina for the journey. It's just some leaves.
Yeah, but Simon, you swallow them. Isn't WindClan the closest to?
Yeah.
I remember the old map. Aren't they like actually not that far from it?
That's what I always thought, but I'm kind of thinking now that like it's still a bit of a journey even after the clan territories. Like it's probably a lot easier to go from ThunderClan to WindClan than from WindClan to Mothermouth.
I guess like also ThunderClan will often like stop, I think, on the way like back. Right?
Right.
And
It was
WindClan
like a
does
2-day event.
straight back. So it is shorter.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, they're journeying, and they have to cross the Thunder Path.
And I just don't understand how the Thunder Path is always so busy. So like they get there and talk about how they have to wait for a gap in the monsters. Just like we're not in London. Like we're in the middle of the woods. Like at most they're in like the suburbs. There should not be as nearly as many cars as there seems to be. I mean, there's just the Thunderpath monster situation continues to bother me. It just doesn't feel like it makes much sense, like almost anything about it. I don't understand how they haven't learned from the kitty pets that they're not alive.
Yeah.
Like, and even if the kitty pets like don't fully understand them, they know that they don't like eat them.
Yeah.
They've been inside them and were just fine and weren't hurt from being inside the monster. And yeah, the fact that it seems like the two legs go out of their way to attempt to hit cats on the side of the road
Happens so much.
is just like, this is a dangerous thing for them to cross the Thunder Path, absolutely, but the ways in which it's dangerous are not accurate.
Like here they say that monsters would be no use at night hunting. Like, you have fundamentally misunderstood what a monster is. How do you not realize that it's just a piece of machinery? Also, what about airplanes? Do they ever notice airplanes?
Huh. Yeah, that seems like it would be some sort of horrifying sign from Starkland.
But yeah, it makes no sense that they have to wait for a gap. Like, I mean,
it just
sure,
can't
be like that, but
yeah, it just can't be that busy all the time.
we also have this, like, a monster scent grit showering over his pelt. This happens a lot too in monster and Thunderpath scenes. Why is there so much grit on these British roads?
Yeah, and like also it reminds me of like a city. Of just like city roads are disgusting.
Yeah, it's grit. There's filthy water, but this is just like regular 2-lane rural road. It seems.
Yeah, like out in the woods, it shouldn't be that bad. Also, has it been raining a lot recently? Because he showed it as filthy water soaked his fur. How much water is on the road? Has it been pouring?
I don't know that we've seen any rain.
Yeah, why is he soaked?
Unless the car like ran off the road a little bit, none of this grit and water should be happening. And apparently it's so busy that Shrewpaw sees a gap before the next monster. and like tries to go and does go. Like just wait till there's no monsters for a minute. And then he almost dies.
Yeah, but also like they have to be able to go more often than they do. I'm just like, cats are so fast, and a road is not that big. Like, just go across it. You just actually run.
Crossing the road those few times at the crosswalk recently. Like that's a way busier road than this should be, and like we would just like walk there and cross the road.
Mm-hmm.
There's no monsters there.
I felt like in these 3 chapters there was a lot of like smelling smoke, or like there was a lot of smoke and fire in these in a way that I was just very also don't think I've noticed before. And like, how has Tapa experienced smoke and fire? Because like it's not that common that they have fires out there.
The only thing I can think of is like when he's watching like the whole territory from up high, you might see 2 like fires.
It's just like, this is not a common thing.
Yeah, I didn't notice any of that stuff this chapter. That's interesting. Evelyn, are you asleep? What is going on?
I'm not.
Say something right now about this chapter.
They're crossing the thunder path.
Yeah. Shrewpaw gets deer in headlights about this monster that's there.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then Hairflight like pushes him out of the way and they almost died. What a dummy.
How hard could it be to cross the street?
Well, that's what we've been talking about, Evelyn.
Well,
Welcome to the podcast.
I'm sorry, but I'm really tired.
The way they talk about it is like they're crossing a freeway.
Yeah,
It's like a 2-lane road.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of
The limit is
nowhere.
probably 35 miles an hour.
Yes, but you have to remember all of the 2 legs are determined to hit as many cats as possible with their cars.
Yeah.
No way is Tallpaw that tired that his legs ached with walking. No way.
Also, just with walking. You don't understand how long I sat and thought about this sentence. And just the different, if it sounded correct, if I said it with like any other verbiage or anything, I was just like, you don't say that your legs ached with walking. They ached from walking, but like ached with walking. I don't know. I got so caught up in it.
Here in America, nobody says things like that.
There are quite a few British isms in this.
Tallpaw should be able to run and walk all day because he's from WindClan. And he says his legs are tired from walking.
No, they ache with walking.
I mean, his legs ached with walking? No, I don't even believe it.
They haven't even journeyed that far yet.
Yeah.
Like, this can't be more than just like a regular border patrol.
It's right there. They're always bragging about how close they are to Heistone.
I do like that he gets swallowed whole by the tunnel.
What is Tatty Heather?
It looks like spotty, patchy, not doing too well. I guess. That's another very British thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're there. They're at Mothermouth.
Hooray!
Anything else to say about this chapter?
It was very long.
I'm sorry that I fell asleep.
Ready for chapter 22?
Yeah.
Alright. Papa has a few visions, but he doesn't like them. Another long chapter. They go back home. Tapa spends some time with the kits, and then he and Shrewpaw are having their test, and Tapa hates Shrewpaw and Sparrow.
The patrol heads down the tunnel to the Moonstone. Shrewpaw taunts Tallpaw, but Hairflight tells his apprentice to knock it off.
They arrive at the Moonstone Cavern. The apprentices share with StarClan. StarClan shows Tallpaw where the Greenleaf visitors are rather than speaking to him. Tallpaw is disappointed.
The patrol heads home. Pawpaw feels like WindClan's territory is so small. But your legs ache with walking.
The kits greet the returning patrol, and Hopkit in particular is shown to have a friendship with the older apprentice.
Tallpaw and Shrewpaw's final assessment. That's not even grammatical. Tallpaw easily passes the observation part.
Stonestripe and Tawpaw and Hairflight and Truepaw regroup. They forgot about commas. Truepaw is mentioned to have done well hunting.
They move on to the battle skills part. Tallpaw and Truepaw fight to show their battle skills. Truepaw accuses Tallpaw of cheating, but the former used his claws himself.
See how they say, like, the former? Like, now I have to look and see which one came first.
I know.
Shrewpaw continues to taunt Tallpaw. The latter sees Shrewpaw as Sparrow, and unknowingly almost kills Shrewpaw due to his pent-up anger at his fellow apprentice for bullying him his whole life, and then the rogue for causing Sangor's death. What? That was such a weird sentence!
It's so long. How is that multiple bullet points?
That sounds like something I would write. Okay, so they're walking into the Moonstone Cavern through the tunnel, and in a single file line, and Tallpaw could feel Shrewpaw's breath warm on his rump. Isn't that terrible? I hate that.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
You guys don't sound so sure. Don't you think it's bad?
Oh, no, I agree. It's bad.
It's
Okay,
bad.
Good.
Yeah, Tallpaw is seriously freaking out and panicking. He is not fit to be a tunneler. Especially because, like, this is a much more stable tunnel than all the other ones in WindClan.
This is like a quarry. So it was made by humans, so it's safer. It's like a big tunnel. It's like big enough for a person.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Or is it? They're only single file. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's a natural tunnel in a quarry.
But it is in a quarry, right?
Yeah. I love how they get to the cavern and Shrewpaw pushes past Tallpaw, rocking him on his paws. Where is it? Where's the stone?
Oh, it's so embarrassing!
Okay, so none of us made any notes throughout the whole dream part.
No. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't know that I made a single note in this whole chapter.
Alright, well, yeah, he gets visions of like where the Greenleaf visitors are now. So I don't remember if we get the answer, but like, why did he get this vision instead of talking to his StarClan? Just so that he could go on his quest out there and then get closure and like.
Yeah, his Eat, Pray, Love discovery journey.
Yeah.
It was all part of the plan.
I like that the huge rock glittered frostily in the moonlight.
I would love to see that.
Why are so many of them scared of it? Have you noticed that? I feel like there have been several cats that are like reluctant to touch it.
I mean, maybe they're just scared of StarClan's power. Like it's just like a big moment for them because they're religious. So what do we think about this whole "you don't share your StarClan dreams with any cat" thing?
Otherwise, they don't come true.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Is that even true?
I don't know. I think that's kind of an issue, though. I think it should be you don't have to share your dreams. Like nobody can make you share. Like, but if you want to discuss it, you should be able to.
It seems like it would be very helpful, especially for like the random cats that go. Like, why did they even go there? I know that at the beginning of the books there was a thing about like all of the apprentices go once and see what it's like.
Stopped at the lake.
Yeah, but they very much stopped doing that very quickly.
I think it's a good like initiation ritual, just like growing up, go on this journey, get to have a little bit of experience outside the clan territories and forge your connection with StarClan.
Yeah.
There's something I don't understand though. So like, you're an apprentice, you go to the Moonstone, then you become a warrior, and then you get an apprentice of your own, and then you take them to the Moonstone. But like here, it's like, I'll lead. Dawnstripe called. I don't want you getting lost. But like Dawnstripe has only been there once.
Yeah.
So
I did
like,
think that like they were leaving without a medicine cat or a leader, or just like anybody who actually goes there.
Yeah. With Firepaw, Blue Star is going there too, so it's very different.
although why would Blue Star have that much experience going either?
I guess sometimes she just like goes to talk to them. She might have gone like fort, as an apprentice with her apprentice, getting her 9 lives other times.
Mm.
But yeah, like it's not very for like just a regular cat. Like you really might only go once if you never have an apprentice. Crazy. So then they come back. Sorrel-Kit raced after her brother, her gray and brown fur spiked with excitement. She stopped beside Tallpaw and began sniffing his pelt, her mouth open as she tasted the strange scents he'd brought back. Gross! Don't do that, that's gross. Where's your manners?
It's like I get it, but at the same time, it's just like, please stop tasting me. No, Finn, I don't like that. Oh, I did make one note. So the kids really want to like talk to Tallpaw about the Moonstone and what it was like, and they're very interested. And he says you'll have to wait till it's your turn to visit. Tallpaw was too tired to talk. He then keeps talking to them and is talking to them about like what they're gonna eat, and he mentions them trying lapwing, but their mother won't let them because of the feathers, and he offers to pluck the bird for them. Now, you just said you were too tired to talk, and now he is plucking an entire bird with, I think, probably just his mouth for these kids. I mean, I'm sure it's like he just doesn't feel like talking about it because he had visions or whatever, but still, it's just like the conversation continues for so much longer, and he offers to do things for them, like pluck an entire bird.
We really don't get any other scenes like this in the book that I can think of, like Tallpaw just enjoying being around his clanmates. That's never happened before.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, he's these kids really like him and he's playing with them and everything. It's very cute. Yeah, I feel like that whole, the whole tired to talk thing just highlights the differences between these, like, mediocre quality books versus, like, a great quality book. Because in a great quality book, like, we wouldn't get something like that. That contradiction.
Oh, there's a sentence right here that I struggled with. Listen, I read this chapter way later. Yeah, that note was from 12:36 a.m. So I read the first 2 chapters at like 8 o'clock. Totally ready for everything. And then I read this chapter right before going to sleep. And it was very much a different vibe. But the sentence, there are grouse behind the copse? I read there are goose behind the corpse so many times. So many times. I struggled with that sentence. And I was like, what What do you mean? What are you talking about?
That's got to be one of the most rare sentences in the English language. Who's ever said there are grouse beside the cops before?
I had such a hard time. And even if you click on cops, it wants you to change it to corpses, which makes me feel a little validated. I had a very hard time reading that sentence last night. I was just like, and then I was also thinking about just like, are there geese? Have we ever seen geese before?
I don't think we've seen them up close that I know of.
They've been in the distance though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, but that seems a lot more likely.
Yeah, except maybe in a whole spiral.
In Great Britain, right?
I imagine they have to have geese. They have swans.
Yeah.
What do we think of his observation? Hawk hunting rabbit.
Yes, they have 7 species of geese in England.
Oh.
Yeah, hawk hunting rabbit was also strange.
That's a funny sentence, too.
A black and white dog is chasing sheep in the hill meadow. It's a border collie.
Mm-hmm. And there is a fire in a two-leg place.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the two-leg place from Outlook Rock. Is Outlook Rock at the edge of the territory?
I don't know.
Because if it's not, what a small territory. Or what a tall rock.
I mean, he does think to himself that it's a small territory. Even though his legs ache with walking.
Yeah, I don't know I don't feel like it should be that tall, but maybe it's tall enough to see, like, a few houses. I feel like if it's facing away from, like, the two-leg place by ThunderClan and everything. Anything else to say until the battle move assessment?
No, I mean, even that, I have very little to say.
So they have to do their battle, Tallpaw and Shrewpaw, for the assessment. And Shrewpaw just goes into it using his claws unsheathed, which is specifically forbidden. And when that happens, Tallpaw says, "No claws, remember?" So I don't understand how Shrewpaw's getting away with this. Like, aren't the mentors right there watching them? Why are they not doing anything when they hear Tallpaw say, "No claws, remember?" Like, why didn't Shrewpaw immediately fail and have to go back to being an apprentice? Like, you failed. This is a very simple, important rule that you know, and that you've known this whole time you've been an apprentice. Like, you are a failure. You have failed your assessment.
Yeah, I also just feel like I know that they're the only apprentices, but there is such a long history of problems between these two that I don't feel like they should be having them do their battle assessment with each other.
Yeah.
That just seems guaranteed to not be a good thing to happen.
Mm-hmm. At some point, Shrewpaw says, "No wonder you couldn't save your father," and then Tallpaw goes goblin mode.
It really does.
And he is all messed up in the head. He's seeing Sparrow instead of Shrewpaw. And he says, You deserve to die."
Again, aren't the mentors watching?
Well, only now do they interrupt.
They do. You deserve to die.
It's so intense.
Yeah.
Tallpaw blinked. Shrewpaw was trembling, but it bloody and tattered on the ground beside his mentor. What have I done?
I support Tallpaw here. Shrewpaw was totally had it coming.
Yeah,
He was going too far. But he didn't deserve to be nearly killed.
No.
I'm sure it's not as bad as it looks.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't remember fully, but I'm pretty sure he's just kind of fine after this.
Just peeking ahead to the next chapter, it seems like he's fine. And also, Dawnstripe glares at Tallpaw, her pelt spiking with rage. "No claws, remember?"
The very same words.
Excuse me. What happened to the no claws with Shrewpaw?
Okay, is it over?
I guess so.
I mean, we need to do our favorite and least favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite part was the nap that I took, and my least favorite part was the long, boring chapters. I'm sorry, something's wrong with me.
Well, my favorite was the end of the tunneling. And my least favorite. What is my least favorite? I don't know. Maybe just that we're finally entering Tallpaw's angry era, and it's not my favorite.
Well, I agree with those. I don't really agree with Evelyn's because I don't relate to them as much. I didn't take a nap, but I do like just right at the end that you deserve to die. I don't know if it's my favorite exactly, but maybe I'll pick that one. And my least favorite was it being almost leaf fall, but the leaves had already been changing color.
Maybe by leaf fall they mean when the leaves fall off the trees.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it's been used because that season would be extremely short.
Well, you know,
There's not like green leaf and then red, yellow, and orange leaf and then leaf fall and then leaf fall.
well, maybe there is another season that we don't know about.
Who's to say? Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.